Hey guys, what's going on? It's David here from Scizorxphlosion. I'm here with Julian.
What's up?
And today we're going to be profiling for you guys a Noivern GX Altaria GX deck with Malamar in it. At first, when we started building it, I thought it might have been a little too clunky with all those stage 1s in there. But really, you have the Mysterious Treasure, and you have Ultra Ball, and you got Nest Ball. You can get all these pieces out pretty quickly. And we tested it. How did you think it ran, Julian?
It ran pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
We got set up really quickly, and then started item locking our opponent with that Distort attack. Really, really good attack. Does 50 damage, and then your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand during their next turn. Really powerful attack. And once I started distorting Julian, there was just nothing Julian could do. He couldn't Ultra Ball, Mysterious Treasure. He was playing a Inkay Malamar deck. But yeah, once I started item locking him, he couldn't get any of his Malamars out. He was forced to have to try a Cynthia to try to dig for those, and he just couldn't do anything. But anyway, we're going to get on with this deck profile. Y'all support us on Patreon, like our Facebook page. All that stuff will be in the description down below. And without further ado, guys, we're going to get on to our deck profile. So to start out, guys, we got 4 copies of Noibat. We are playing the Destructive Sound Noibat, because it has that Destructive Sound attack, and it says your opponent reveals their hand, and you discard any item cards you find there. So if you happen not to be able to get a Noivern out, you do have Destructive Sound rather, in order to disrupt your opponent a little bit, and then they're probably going to knock it out next turn, but then that'll give you a little more time to set up your Noivern. So 4 copies of Noibat. And then we also play 4 copies of Noivern GX. Noivern GX is a very good card, and I have been hyping this card for a long time, even after it's come out. It's been out for a while, since Guardians Rising, I believe, or Burning Shadows. But this card is really cool. It's got 200 HP, free retreat, which is amazing. Weakness to Fairy, because it's Dragon type. You got the Distort attack for Darkness and Colorless Energy. For 50 damage, your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand during their next turn, and this is probably the most valuable attack you have on this Pokemon. But all its attacks are really, really good. With Distort, the problem in the past is it only hits for 50 damage. With the Choice Band, you hit for 80, and then if you have Devoured Field down, if you play it, you hit for 90. So that's still not 2-shotting most things. Right. You're usually 3-shotting things. But if you're playing against something like a healing deck that plays Acerola or Max Potion, it can be kind of a rough game for you. Well, I guess they can't play those if you just store them. No. But they can Acerola. But anyway, the thing that has come out in Dragon Majesty that makes this deck better is Altaria. Altaria makes it to where your Dragon types hit for 20 more damage, and you can make your Distorts hit for at least 120, as long as you have a Choice Band, a Devoured Field, and an Altaria down. So, or 110 rather, 110. But yeah, you can start hitting things and start 2-shotting things rather than 3-shotting things. So Distort is a lot better this time around. And we also got Sonic Volume here that we do have access to. We play Psychic, Darkness, and Colorless Energy. For 120 damage, your opponent can't play any special energy cards from their hand during their next turn. So this is really good if you have things like a Zoroark you're going up against that play nearly all special energy.
Right.
It'd be really, really hard for them to get an attachment and then start dealing some damage onto you. So Sonic Volume can be really good. It can hit for some high numbers. We do play 3 copies of Baby Altaria in here. So you could get it up to 20, 40... 60, 80, 180 damage, 210 with a Choice Band, so you could potentially knock out Zoroarks that stand in your way. So that would be probably the attack of choice if you're going against a Zoroark deck. And then you've got Boomburst GX, which is an amazing GX attack. Psychic, Darkness, Colorless, once again, does 50 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So if you have all the power-ups down, like your Altaria, you have your Devoured Field, your Choice Band, it's still going to hit more damage on your opponent's active Pokemon, but it will still deal some chip damage onto all your opponent's bench, which is really, really awesome. So, 4 copies of Noivern GX. Next up, guys, we play 2 copies of Swablu. We play this Swablu because I like it better. I like the artwork better. And I actually think it's a little bit better because you have Sing, and Sing just automatically puts your opponent to sleep. Hopefully they can stay asleep. It's kind of like the Inkay's attack Hypnosis. But Sing can be really, really valuable sometimes if you get stuck in the active with a Swablu and you're forced to attach an energy to attack. So, 2 copies of Swablu. And then we play 3 copies of the baby Altaria with the Fight Song ability. Fight Song says all your Dragon-type Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So you're just stacking up damage. And we play 3 in here because we also play a Lance Prism Star in order to get those down on the bench if they happen to take out maybe a Swablu, or they take out an Altaria or a Noibat or a Noivern, anything like that. You can just use Lance, get down 2 Altarias or an Altaria and a Noivern, something like that, and start getting right back into the battle where you left off. So 3 copies of that Altaria, 2 copies of Inkay. Inkay's there because we're playing Malamar in here, and like I said, Hypnosis is a really good attack. Be able to put your opponent to sleep if you have to, but mainly it's just a stepping stone to the 2 copies of Malamar we play in here. We play 2 copies because we really only ever want to have 1 Malamar down at a time. Just want to get that first Malamar set up. Yeah, get your Inkay evolved into Malamar, get it set up, start using Psychic Recharge in order to charge up a Noivern in 1 turn, and that way you can go up there and start hitting with Distort for some good damage. But once you get the 1 Malamar set up, the rest of these are just discard fodder. So 2 copies of Malamar. And to end off the Pokemon line, guys, we got 2 copies of Tapu Lele for that Wonder Tag ability to get those supporters out whenever we need them. We do need the supporters a lot. We do play Acerolas, we play Guzmas, Cynthia, stuff like that, and also the Lance Prism Star if you need to get it down. But 2 copies of Tapu Lele GX. Let's move these over just a tad so y'all can see them a little bit better. All right, so there's our Pokemon line, guys. We've got, for the supporters, 4 copies of Cynthia, your basic draw supporter for any Pokemon deck. Shuffle your hand to your deck and draw 6 cards. Then we've got 3 copies of Guzma. Guzma's there to target down your opponent's Pokemon you want to take down, and maybe bring up something that, maybe there's something in the active that's a threat to Noivern. One of the best strategies I've seen, since Noivern has free retreat. Retreat into something, and then Guzma, bring up one of your opponent's Pokemon that maybe doesn't have any energies on it, maybe something that can be stuck in the active for a little while, and then Distort, lock them out of their items, and then they won't be able to retreat. They can't attach things like escape boards or anything like that, so they'll have to be forced to play a Guzma in order to get out of the active, and if they do that, your Noivern is safe. So 3 copies of Guzma. Then we also play 3 copies of Lily. Lily's really good. I'm starting to up the counts of Lily in a lot of my decks because I've just seen it's one of the best draw supporters we have this format. And especially with this deck being able to discard as many cards as it can from its hand nearly every turn, Lily is really valuable. So 3 copies of Lily. 1 copy of Acerola. Acerola's there to prize deny your opponent on your Noiverns. It's very valuable if you get it's very invaluable to you if your Noiverns get knocked out, and you just want to try to deny your opponent prizes as often as you can. For those of you who don't know, Acerola, put 1 Pokemon that has any damage counters on it, and all cards attached to it into your hand. So save your Noivern, save your choice bands if you have them attached, and then get them down on another Noivern. And the last supporter we play in here, guys, is 1 copy of Lance Prism Star. You can play this card only if you have one of your Pokemon knocked out during the last turn. Search your deck for 2 Dragon Pokemon and put them directly to the bench, then shuffle your deck. So this means you can search out Noiverns directly from the deck or Altarias directly from the deck. Since it does not specify they have to be basics, you can get those evolved Pokemon straight down to the bench without having to get their basic forms down. Pretty awesome. It's good. And then we got 4 copies of Ultra Ball. We're moving on to the items now, by the way. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, your standard search for any Pokemon deck. Discard 2 cards from your hand, and then search your deck for a Pokemon and add it to your hand. And since this is a Dragon and Psychic deck, we do play 4 copies of Mysterious Treasure. Mysterious Treasure's there for those Dragon and Psychic types. The only cards that you can't search out with these in this deck are your Swablus and your Noibats. But for those, we do have Nest Ball in here as well. So for those of you who don't know, discard a card from your hand. If you do, search your deck for a Dragon or a Psychic Pokemon and add it to your hand. 4 copies of Mysterious Treasure. Then we play 3 copies of Nest Ball to get those basics down. This deck has all evolutions as the attackers or as the supports. So we need to get down those evolutions as often and as quickly as possible in order to get them started on evolving. 3 copies of Nest Ball. 3 copies of Choice Band. I would even say it's good to play 4 copies in here because you want to have a Choice Band attached to a Noivern at all times. You want to be able to deal out as much damage as you can, and you want to have the baby Altaria set up. You want to always have at least one baby Altaria, one Choice Band, one Devoured Field, and then a Noivern set up and ready to attack. And Choice Band is really important. So up to y'all. If you would like to play a 4th copy, I would highly recommend it. And for the last item, guys, we play 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher to get those Pokemon back that we may discard or we may get knocked out. Put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, or shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. For the stadium, guys, 3 copies of Devoured Field. Devoured Field lets your Darkness and your Dragon Pokemon hit for 10 more damage. We don't play any Darkness, but we play a lot of Dragons, so this will help us deal a little bit more damage. This helps us get like the knockout on Zoroark with our Sonic Volume attack, if we can, because otherwise we'd only hit for 200, which kind of sucks. But 3 copies of Devoured Field. And to end off the deck, guys, we've got 7 copies of Darkness Energy, and then 4 copies of Psychic Energy. We only play the 4 because we do play the Malamars, and we just want to get one of these into the discard pile. We just play the 4 so we have the higher chance of drawing it. So we get 1 into the discard pile, use the Malamar to continuously recycle it, and then get our Noiverns into battle in 1 turn. Pretty awesome. Attach Darkness from your hand, Psychic Recharge onto one of your Noiverns, bring it up, and get ready to attack your opponent with Distort and lock them out of items. This deck is really cool, guys. I really enjoy it. I played this deck a while back, and I played it with Malamar before Altaria came out. And I just got a request for this deck. This is a requested deck, by the way. And yeah, I was so excited when they gave me the request because I love Noivern. He's such a cool Pokemon. He's a Dragon Bat. Look at him. He's a Dragon Bat. He's awesome.
Yes, he is.
He's a Dragon Bat. Who doesn't like Dragon Bats? He's got big old boombox ears. He's cool. Noivern's a cool Pokemon. But I love Noivern, and I think you would too if you tried this deck out. Distort, just being able to stop your Pokemon or your opponent from playing Pokemon is really cool. It's mean. Yeah, Julian was getting frustrated. I could see it. I knew he had like a handful of Ultra Balls and Mysterious Treasures and stuff like that, and he couldn't use any of it. So yeah, it's really annoying to play against, really fun to play. Really cool deck. It could even have some potential against some of the meta decks, locking them out of items and special energies. A lot of those Zoroark decks, even like my own Zoroark Banette, plays almost all, with the exception of 1 card. There's 1 card in there that's a basic energy, and the rest of them are all special energies. So Sonic Volume would lock me out of those as well. So yeah, it's a deck that has a lot of versatility. You've got the free retreat, which is amazing. Any deck would beg for free retreat, where Noivern just gets it naturally. Really cool. And then Boom Burst on top of that is a really awesome GX tag. Spreading 50 may not sound like much, but that's 250 across the board.
Right.
If they have that's 300 across the board if they have 6 Pokemon on the bench. So I mean that's amazing damage in my opinion, and you could get some one-shots in with Sonic Volume or even Distort after you do that Boom Burst GX. But yeah, really cool Pokemon, really powerful deck, really fun deck. I suggest you try it if you haven't already. This deck's received some hype since Dragon Majesties came out, and I think it's really cool and really fun. But y'all be sure and tell me what you think in the comment section down below. Let me know if you think Noivern has some potential, if you think it's just a trash Pokemon, or you think it's awesome, or whatever you think. Like and comment, and subscribe if you're new. And this is David and Julian from Scizorxphlosion, and we'll see you guys next time.